Okay, y'all. This is my second time reading this book this year, and it's the middle of June. So I love it. I am super nervous, even though there's only 3 of you on here today. Like my heart's pounding on my chest. But we do the scary things here, right? So I don't normally like just like talking the whole time, and I'm not going to, but I am going to like give y'all a little bit of homework. Obviously, it's totally up to you to dig in and think and do the homework yourself. I'm not going to ask for it or anything because some of the questions are going to be super personal. Like, feel free to send to your upline if you want to, but I'm not making you send them to anybody. Okay, this week was over chapter 1 and 2, and chapter 1 is over influence. I have been around a little while, so I have actually read John Maxwell's book solely about influence, and this chapter just like condenses it down into something much smaller, but also like jam-packed full of information. So one of the things that I wrote down, he has like why people don't develop as leaders. So like, you don't think you're a born leader. Most people are not just like natural born leaders. Some are, but a lot are not. Title and seniority will automatically make me a leader, which is super false. Work experience will automatically make me a leader. And I'm waiting until I get a position to start developing as a leader. If you're waiting to like rank up to become a leader, then you're doing it too late. Just start growing and learning now and developing your leadership and growing your leadership lid. But one of the questions that personally I absolutely loved was, which of these false assumptions may be holding you back? So like me personally, I was like, I can't lead people. Like I'm just a teacher, which is dumb. You're not just to anything. So like that's mine. I would love to hear from y'all though, while my dogs are being insane. And Jordan's over here and can't talk because she's listening to top secret things.
I can go. I thought that, one second. Don't do that, please. The kids over here spilling all of our food on the floor. But I was waiting kind of for like a rank up to lead. I had coffee with Callie Beal like 2 weeks ago, I think. And I was like, I look in the chat and I do not respond because I feel like people don't look at me as a leader yet because I'm not like at a rank that I would assume people would look up to. And she was like, no, like we don't respond sometimes because we want you guys to respond. Like you are at a level where people will look at you now as more of these upcoming leaders, and you have to step out of your comfort zone and do these things and be like in the chats and posting on stuff. And so I'm like, okay, I gotta step it up now. So I've been trying to be more active and stuff. And I don't know, I feel like it's helped a little bit. So it's just funny though, that that's what I was like. I was always looking at like, you know, Jordan and Callie and Haven and all those people to respond when it's like, you know, I know the answer. I can just do it myself.
I have to tell you this because
I love that.
Can you hear me? So it's so funny because when I started, I had no team page. I had no anything. So like I had to pretend like I was diamond when I was gold. And I do think while having tools is awesome, like Hannah, you are a better leader right now than I was when I was gold and senior gold. Right. So it's like, it's so much of it is about confidence and energy. And if you just are like, hi, I'm Hannah, I'm going diamond this year and I'm going to act like it, like it just changes so much, you know?
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
I think that's probably my favorite quote from Tips from the Top, is attitude determines altitude. Like if you're stuck in that I'm not a leader, I can't do this type of thing, then you're gonna stay there. Which mindset is a huge thing of mine. I am all about positivity, even when I don't feel like it. And sometimes I feel like absolute garbage, but I'm gonna be like, today's the best day ever. So that that's gonna stick with me for a long time. The attitude determines altitude. So I love that. Lindsay, you're awfully quiet over there.
Yeah, mine is pretty much the same thing. Like, I feel like I held myself back for so long because I was like, I can't lead people. Like, I've always been a follower. And so I held myself back by being like, I'll just follow them. And like, because that's always been what I've done, I guess, my entire life. And so I was resisting like branching out as a leader because I was like, I'm only gold, or I'm only, whatever. And so I was really resisting that. And so I feel like that's a huge shift, like through reading this book and some of his other books, just knowing that even if we're quote unquote just silver, like we need to be growing into that leader, because even if we just want to stay silver, like we're still influencing and leading those people under us. And so it doesn't really matter about your rank. We're even in our families, like, we're constantly leading people in one direction or the other.
So I'm really glad that you said that we're always influencing people, because like that was my next thing. I actually wrote down this whole little section. I'll see what page it's on. It's only on page 4. That's as far as I got before I was like, oh, this is so good. But the quote is, anyone, for good or ill, who gets others to follow as a leader, that means Hitler was a leader. Did you know that Time named Hitler their man of the year in 1938 because he had greater influence on the world than anyone else? Osama bin Laden was a leader. Jesus of Nazareth was a leader. So was Joan of Arc, Abraham Lincoln, Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King Jr., and John F. Kennedy were leaders. While the value systems, abilities, and goals of all these people were vastly different, each of them attracted followers. They all had influence. Like, thinking about how much influence Hitler had blows my mind. But he did. He was a person of influence. Not a great influence, but he was a person of influence. And so that really stuck with me and kind of just hit me like, what kind of person do I want to be influencing others? Because I'm going to be influencing others one way or another. So like personally, I want to influence people to follow Jesus and have a positive attitude and just be like fun loving and go with the flow. And I know it's really hard for a lot of people to go with the flow, as I'm over here like, wee. So like, I don't know. I want to influence people to be like that though. And I did want to touch on another thing. Like, it doesn't matter if the person is below you in your organization or above you, like you are influencing the people above you too. I hear things from silvers and senior silvers and golds all the time. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, light bulb moment. That's amazing. I am so glad that they shared that. So it does not matter rank or any of that. Which Hannah, you said, like, it doesn't matter your rank because you are influencing people. So my next question is, what is your reaction to the negative leaders listed among the positive ones? Like, how did y'all feel thinking about Hitler and Osama bin Laden being named as leaders along with Jesus and Joan of Arc. Like, what did that make y'all feel?
I think I have seen in my years of doing Plexus, I have seen people be influential for good and for evil. Like everything you do is either rising people up or bringing them down. And so I think I just was, it wasn't shocking because I've seen it. I've seen it happen over and over.
My immediate reaction, like after I read it, is always like checking myself, like, because you don't think about those people, or I don't think about those people having such a great influence, but they did. And so like, it's not mind blowing, but it kind of is, I guess, for me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Like, some things you just need to hear multiple times to kind of be hit in the face and be like, oh, duh. Which I do that a lot of the time. What were some of y'all's favorite things from chapter 1 and influence? Because like I said, I don't want to sit here and talk the whole time. I just love the whole book.
I'm not going to talk the whole time, but I will say on the bottom of page 4, that was one of my big aha moments, because I'm really working to not use being an introvert like as like, oh, I can't do that because I'm introverted, or I'm shy, or what. I know introverted and shy are two different things, but I just loved how it talked about that introverted individuals will influence 10,000 other people during his or her lifetime. So just thinking about, no matter if you're introverted, extroverted, whatever, you're literally influencing so many people that we don't even think about. So just being like really mindful of it and making sure that I'm adding value like everywhere I go, because as an introvert, I often like stare at the ground like everywhere I go. Like I'm just like, going to the store, I'm in and out. So trying to be more mindful of that, because we encounter people constantly. So yeah.
I totally agree with that. I have it highlighted and have stars next to it because, like, thinking that I will influence 10,000 people in my lifetime is already mind blowing. But I am slightly more extroverted than Lindsay is. So I know that number goes up, and that terrifies me, but excites me all at the same time. Kind of like we were talking about. And again, tips from the top, focusing on the excitement of the waves and not the scariness of the waves. Y'all, I literally have gone through this book, this chapter twice, have 2 different color highlighters, and I'll probably have the whole book highlighted by the time we're done. I am actually not going to go over the 5 levels of leadership again. I know not everybody has read that book, but that is like a very short and condensed version. And I also highly recommend that you go read the full book. I'll also be the person that tries to influence you to become a reader, like an avid reader, nonfiction, fiction, just read all the things. I got plenty of recommendations. Do y'all like the questions that he asks throughout the book?
I personally love like having questions, because it causes me to like, I'm a box checker, and so like questions make me have to like pause and like think about it. So I like having questions.
Yeah, me too. I actually really like his first question. I said I'm not going to talk about it under people development. Am I passionate about personal growth? Like, I am a teacher by trade. I taught for 6 years, and everything you go to is professional development. I had never heard of personal development until I started Plexus. I didn't understand that I needed to grow as a person before I could help anybody else. And honestly, that included my 5-year-olds in my classroom. I had to grow and become better to help them grow and become better, even at their little 5-year-old selves. I
Great,
am
Paige.
going
I
to
want
give y'all,
to-
oh, my
Can I
bad, Haber.
piggyback off that real quick? You're good. So I wanted to piggyback off that because prior to Plexus, I was never like deep into like personal development. Like, yeah, I liked doing like scary things that made me uncomfortable, but like even to this day, like this book study was perfect for me because for the longest time, like, yes, I am Ruby now, but I will admit, like, I've never been deep into books. And like, I watch videos, but I'm not a reader. Well, I say that, but I'm full of excuses because like I'm in grad school. So always like in my mind, I'm like, I don't have time for another book. Like, why do I want to do that? But I think the part that really stuck out to me in chapter 1 was that why are you waiting until you hit the rank to start developing yourself? So that like really hit me because, you know, I have all these big goals of like, I want to go Emerald, I want to do these things, like I want to hit the top of the company, but I'm not willing to read a book. So that was something that like really stuck out to me. I'm like, okay, Haven, like get it together. But I wanted to share that because you really shouldn't wait.
That was
I
very
love,
sorry, go ahead.
nope, go.
That was very similar to me because I know I kind of touched on it earlier, but like I literally avoided all leadership books because I was like, in the company, I'm not there yet, which nobody says that, but like I had placed leadership with like, when I get to this rank, I will be a leader. And so I think that's, I don't know. It's just it's a big aha moment.
Yeah, I agree. And I can't remember who it was. If it was Chandler, maybe, or Lauren. And Jessica Heffley asked them, what book are you reading? And they were just like, I don't read. And now both of them will be over here like, you need to read this book and this book and this book. Personally, one of my like coaching questions for coaching calls from Lauren is, what book are you reading? Because like leaders are readers. That's just how the world works. And honestly, like learning from the leadership guru is one of my favorite things ever. Okay, I'm going to go to chapter 2. Every chapter that I read, I guess, when did we start this? In March, I think, is when I first read it or started reading it, or April. I don't know. They all run together. Every chapter, I was like, oh, this is my favorite. Oh, no, this is my favorite now. And priorities was like hard for me to swallow, but at the same time, I really loved the chapter. And I know that several people have said this on Tips from the Top, but time cannot and will not be managed, and you will never get more of it. Like, you have to learn to manage your time. And it's hard. Like, I worked for the first year and a half of my Plexus business. I worked full time and I was a teacher. If you know teachers, you know we do not just get there when our time starts at 7:30 or whatever, and we don't just like leave and not take anything home. I can't tell you how many times I have left a school building after dark, and I have never arrived at a school building during the daylight. So, like, you put in extra hours at school. And so I had to be very intentional with how I was working and how I was able to read and do IPA and all of those things. And I'm not going to lie, it's harder now for me not working full time. It is harder for me to prioritize and time block. So you have to be very intentional with it. And remember that you have the same 24 hours that everybody else does. That feels like a gut punch sometimes, like every time I say it. But did y'all think about priorities? How do y'all feel about priorities, time blocking, all that stuff?
I loved it actually. I've been trying to incorporate it into my daily, like weeks, I guess, days, this past week. And it's hard, but I mean, I'm a hairstylist, so my life already works in scheduling and stuff. So that's makes it easier. But I'm kind of a yes person, and I just like, I never really have plans. Like I just am getting to a schedule with like my child. Like we never had sleep schedules, we never had anything. And I just like really have lived like, kind of go with the flow. And I've realized it's actually a lot easier for me to have a schedule, to be honest with you. And so, and just like prioritizing them. So I like I said, I said yes. I say yes to like every single client. And then I overwork myself. And like you, I would get, there early because I want to set up and make sure I have everything, color and everything. And then I would just have like super extended days because I always do extra stuff and you have to clean and do all that stuff too. And so I'm having to like prioritize and be like, do I need, like, I have this job too. Like, I don't need to always say yes to everyone now. I have to like prioritize my clients now into different categories. Like, who am I going to want to take on? Like, am I going to continue with this job? I don't know right now, but, like I just have to prioritize friendships too now and just different things. Like that's another, I've actually got to talk to Callie about that too, like just recently. And she's like one that has really done that well and probably has had to more, but she was like, I am prioritizing, like, even just like when she hung out with me, she was like, I am making time for this. Like, and I don't just hang out with everyone. So like, if I'm hanging out with you, it's because I want to. And I was like, oh, I've never thought of it that way. Like usually I'm like, sure, I'll just hang out with whoever. But now like I don't have all the time. I want to spend time with my kid and now my husband and all these certain things. So you just can't say yes to everything and everyone. And it's easier to be on a schedule.
Yep, I totally agree with that. And whenever you like put it that way, that you have to prioritize friendships and who you're going to be friends with and who you're going to pour time into, you're just like, I'm a 9, so I just want to make everyone happy and want world peace and stuff like that. But like you have to say no, and you have to learn to say no, even if it's something that you want to do. Like I have told my husband multiple times throughout Max's journey, no, I'm sorry, I can't go to dinner because I have team call, or I already planned this thing with my Plexus team. I can't do that. At first, he was really about it, and now he's much more understanding. He actually comes home and is like, "Don't you have a call tonight?" Yes, I do. So, and he's super sweet and like disappears for an hour of team call, which is awesome. And then we have date nights on Wednesday nights. So yay for date nights. And also including that into your priorities. I know that Jordan is huge on dating your spouse. Okay, my big thing I like time blocking. I time block pretty much every day. I did not time block vacation, and I don't time block every weekend, but my weekdays, I pretty much time block all those days. But after reading this chapter and about margin, a light bulb went off. I was completely shocked because like my margin for me personally would be free time, and then also like reading, doing things I love, self-care stuff, stuff like that. But I never thought of it this way. And so I actually have marked down like page 39 to 43 is where margin is. And I have almost the entire section highlighted. But it kind of goes with the, what is it, the Pareto principle, and your top 20% should give you an 80% return or whatever. So like it all goes together and is really helpful. So when you're time blocking, make sure that you're putting in that time for margin. I was completely shocked by the amount of time you should be creating for margin. The 3 hours and 12 minutes unscheduled every single day, that is crazy. And whenever you are just sitting here thinking about it, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have an extra 3 hours in my day. But it also doesn't have to be 3 consecutive hours. And I do think we can fit in that time for margin. Me personally, I get up early so that I can have my morning time and just take time for myself, take time to be with Jesus. And that is part of my margin self-care stuff. If I do not do it, I do not have the smoothest day. So I make sure that I do plan in my like free time. I also, we kind of talked about this last night on team call. Leaders understand that activity is not necessarily accomplishment. Not on team call, on a podcast that Chandler sent yesterday. And I will send y'all that. But it was saying, Bob was saying that you can do all the videos, read all the books, but if you're not applying those things, then you're not actually accomplishing anything. So that's why I came up with homework for the book call, because we can read the book, but if we're not applying it, then, I mean, is it really benefiting our business? Yeah. And that's actually all I have. And shockingly, we have 9 minutes until the Zoom ends. But did y'all have anything else? Did y'all do the activities in the book? Yeah. Hayden, I'm looking at your upside down head right now.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. The reason I was late to the call is because my phone was dead, and now I have it plugged into my laptop, and this is the only way it stands up while I hold it. I created like homework, questions, worksheets, whatever, for each chapter. But then today, going back through the book and kind of getting some notes down, I found some other questions that I wanted to add in. So I am going to add those in on a sheet before I send it out to everybody. Once again, like, y'all don't have to send this to me. You don't have to send it to the thread. If you want to send it to your upline for accountability or sideline, power partner, whatever, absolutely go for it. But I mean, you're only going to get out of this what you put into it. So like, it's going to be a golden rule type of thing. But I am super excited
and I'm super proud of y'all for doing this. And next week we are doing chapters 3 and 4. Is everyone here going to convention? Yes. Okay. I would love to meet up and do this in person at convention. So bring your books, put it in your carry-on if you're flying, or if you're crazy like me and Lindsay, then shove it in the backseat of the car. But I cannot wait to see y'all next week and Haven's little bouncy energy self. I will see y'all next week, guys.
Yay.
Thank you.
Bye.